It was 11:07 p.m. when she said those words that still echo in my mind. "Mom's in a serious condition. I'm going to the hospital," she told me, her voice calm but cold. Her name was Emily, my wife of 6 years. We lived in Chicago in a quiet apartment on the South Side. I remember standing near the living room window that night, watching her zip up her jacket, her phone clutched tight in her hand. Something about her eyes felt distant, distracted, as if her body was in front of me but her mind was miles away. I offered to go with her. "I'll drive you," I said, but she turned down the offer almost too quickly. "No, Jason, you don't need to, I'll manage." That was the first moment my chest tightened with doubt. She left in a rush, perfume still floating in the air, door closing softly behind her. I kept staring at that door for a long time. Something inside me whispered that she wasn't going to see her mother. Time moved slowly after that. I tried to distract myself, turned on the TV, scrolled through my phone, made coffee I didn't drink. But the clock kept dragging its hands forward minute by minute until the silence of the house began to feel heavy. At 1:04 a.m. my phone rang, the kind of call no man forgets. "Mr. Jason Miller," a deep voice said. "Yes, speaking." "This is Officer Ryan from the Chicago Police Department. Your wife, Emily Miller, has been detained at a checkpoint. We need you to come to the station immediately." My heart sank. "Detained? What happened?" "She was found under the influence and driving erratically," the officer replied. "Please come as soon as possible." The world around me froze. I grabbed my jacket, keys shaking in my hands, and rushed out into the cold night. The streets looked emptier than ever. When I reached the police station, the air smelled of alcohol, cigarettes, and shame. And then I saw her, Emily, sitting on a metal chair inside the glass room. Her hair messy, mascara smudged, her eyes half open but not from tears, from intoxication. 2 officers stood beside her. For a moment I couldn't breathe. My wife, the woman I trusted more than anything, looked like a stranger. "Sir, she was found in a car with another man," one officer said quietly, reading my face. My blood went cold. "What did you say?" "She wasn't alone," he repeated. "We're processing the other person too." That was the moment my heart turned into stone. I looked at her. She avoided my eyes. She didn't say sorry. She didn't explain. She didn't even look scared, just numb, as if what she had done meant nothing. Standing there under the harsh white light of that police station, I realized something inside me had died too. Not just love, but the part of me that believed in her. And in that moment, without shouting, without touching her, without even a tear, I made my decision. I would divorce her tonight. I walked out of that room, leaving her name behind with the police paperwork. The cold wind hit my face as I stepped outside, but it didn't sting as much as her betrayal. That night wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was the night I promised myself revenge, not through violence but through silence and success. She had humiliated me in front of the world. Now she would see me rise without her. I didn't drive home right away. I parked my car near Lake Michigan, watching the city lights shimmer over the dark water. The wind was sharp, but I didn't care. I kept hearing her voice in my head, that fake softness when she said, "Mom's in a serious condition." That lie burned more than her betrayal. For 6 years, I had believed every word she said. I used to think she was the reason I smiled after a long day, the peace in my chaos. But now I realized she was the chaos. She had just learned to hide it behind soft words and gentle touches. When I finally got home, her perfume still lingered on the couch. I looked around and saw the life we had built, our wedding photo. The small cactus she said represented us because we survive anything, and the ring box I once hid under her pillow when I proposed. I picked up that box and threw it into the trash. It felt like throwing away my own stupidity. I didn't sleep that night. I sat by the window until morning, watching the city wake up while my heart stayed dead. Around 7 a.m., my phone buzzed again, her call from the station. I didn't answer. By noon, I had already called my lawyer. "File for divorce," I said. My voice didn't shake, not even a little. He asked me the usual questions, reasons, evidence, property. I gave him everything calmly, as if I was discussing a business deal, not the end of love. But deep inside, a storm was building. Days turned into weeks. She tried calling me again and again, left voice messages, cried on text, said she was sorry, said it was a mistake. But every time I saw her name flash on my screen, I remembered her face in that police room, not guilty, not sorry, just caught. One evening she came to the apartment. I opened the door and stood in silence. She looked different, tired, scared, smaller somehow. "Jason, please," she whispered. "I made a mistake." I almost laughed. "A mistake," I said. "You lied to me, cheated on me, embarrassed me in front of strangers, and you call that a mistake?" She started crying, covering her face. I just stared at her, and for the first time I didn't feel love or hate, just emptiness. "Do you remember what I told you once?" I said quietly. "I told you I would stand with you even if the whole world left you, but you were the one who left first." She begged me to forgive her. I didn't shout, I just turned away. "Leave, Emily. Whatever you had in me is gone." That was the last time she saw me as her husband. I moved out the next day, found a small apartment downtown. The silence there was different, not lonely, just clean. No lies, no perfume hiding guilt. Every night I went to the gym, ran until my legs hurt, then came back and worked late on my small business, a digital design studio I had been building for months. I poured all my pain into that work. While she spent her nights crying and apologizing, I spent mine growing stronger, richer, colder. A few months later, my business took off. Clients doubled, money started flowing, and suddenly, I was the man I always wanted to be, focused, unstoppable, untouchable. But deep inside, I still remembered that night, 11:07 p.m., the night everything changed. Revenge, I realized, doesn't always mean destroying someone. Sometimes it means becoming so successful that your silence becomes their punishment. One day at a cafe near Lincoln Park, I saw her again. She was sitting alone, hair shorter, eyes hollow. When she noticed me, she froze. I walked past her calmly, wearing the same perfume she once loved, not to remind her of me, but to remind her what she lost. She whispered my name as I passed, but I didn't look back. That was my revenge piece. Months went by. People asked if I was dating someone new. I was. I didn't need anyone. The love I gave her had turned into the fire that built me. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw the man she tried to break but ended up creating instead. Sometimes at night, I still think about her call from the police station, how her voice trembled when she said, "Jason, please come." She had no idea that was the night I stopped coming, not just to her, but to every version of myself that needed her approval. Now when I drive past that same police station, I smile, because that place didn't ruin me, it freed me. Weeks turned into months, and my heart learned something new: peace can be louder than revenge. But peace is never easy when betrayal still echoes in your veins. Some nights I'd wake up around 11:07 p.m., the same time she had left that night, and for a second it all replayed in my head. Her lie, her perfume, the door closing. Then I'd remind myself, I survived it. I started spending more time at work. My business, Miller Designs, began to gain attention from bigger companies. Reporters started calling me the young digital visionary from Chicago. Every article about me felt like a quiet slap to the woman who once said I'd never be successful without her. And life, as it always does, decided to test me again. One afternoon, about a year later, I got an email from a company asking for a meeting about a collaboration. The name on the contact line stopped me cold: Emily Parker, her maiden name. She was working as an assistant at the company that wanted to hire me. I laughed when I saw it. Not a cruel laugh, just disbelief at how life circles back to show us who we've become. For a few minutes, I thought about rejecting the meeting, but then something inside me whispered, no, let her see you now. The next morning, I walked into that building wearing a black suit, confident, calm, every step echoing against the marble floor. She was standing near the conference room door, holding a clipboard. When she saw me, her hand froze midair. "Jason," she breathed. "Emily," I said softly, as if saying her name for the first time. She looked small, like the world had taken everything from her that she once took from me. Her eyes searched mine for anger, but there was none, only distance. The meeting started. I spoke clearly, signed the deal, shook hands with the directors. She stood silently in the corner, watching. I didn't glance at her even once after that. As I walked out, she followed me to the elevator. "Jason, can we talk?" she said. "About what?" I asked, pressing the button. "About us." "There is no us, Emily. You ended that at a police checkpoint." She looked down, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I've paid for what I did," she whispered. "No," I said calmly, stepping into the elevator. "You're still paying." The doors closed between us. That soft ding of the elevator felt like the final nail in the coffin of our past. That night I drove to the same lake where I once sat broken. This time I wasn't broken, I was whole. I stood under the same sky, wind colder than before, but my heart was warm with peace. I realized I never truly wanted revenge. I just wanted my power back. And I got it. Because revenge isn't shouting or destroying someone's life. It's standing tall in the same world that once made you kneel and smiling without bitterness. Today, when people ask about my story, I tell them this. Don't waste your pain trying to ruin someone who already ruined themselves. Use it. Build yourself from it. Let your success speak the words you'll never need to say. Emily, she moved away months later. I heard she's living quietly somewhere in Ohio. Maybe she's learned something too. Maybe not, I don't care anymore. Because at 1:04 a.m. when I got that call from the police station, I thought my life had ended. But now I know that was the moment it truly began.